The basic difference between the two branches of Indian philosophy schools is said to be based on the recognition of the Vedas. Orthodox or Āstika schools recognize the authority of the Vedas, while Heterodox or Nāstika schools don't believe in the authority of the Vedas. In Indian philosophy, 6 orthodox schools are Sankhya, Yoga, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Purva Mimamsa, and Uttara Mimamsa or Vedanta. Almost all Indian schools of thought accepted the theory of karma and rebirth. And the ideal of moksha is conceived as liberation from the cycle of birth and death. Moksha or liberation is considered the highest goal of human struggle. Sankhya is the oldest philosophy. It was put forward by Kapila Muni. This philosophy provided the materialistic ontology for Nyaya and Vaisheshika, but there is a very little original literature in Sankhya. It is generally believed that Sankhya philosophy is dualistic and not monistic because it has two entities, Purusha the spirit and Prakriti the nature in it. Sankhya emphasizes the attainment of knowledge of the self by means of concentration and meditation. Sankhya holds that it is self-knowledge that leads to liberation and not any exterior influence or agent. Sankhya forms the philosophical basis for yoga. In Sankhya, the necessity of God is not felt for epistemological clarity about the interrelationship between higher self, individual self, and the universe around us. Purusha and Prakriti. In the beginning, the philosophy materialistic as it talked only about Prakriti, but later the element of Purusha was also added to it. While Purusha is posited as the only sentient being, ever existent and immaterial, Prakriti is said to be the material basis of this universe, composed of 3 basic elements, 3 gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. Yoga philosophy presents a method of physical and mental discipline. Yoga presents a practical path for the realization of the self. Whereas the Sankhya emphasizes the attainment of knowledge of the self by means of concentration and meditation. Releasing Purusha from Prakriti by means of physical and mental discipline is the concept of yoga. The sage Maharshi Patanjali is the founder of the yoga philosophy. It mostly accepts the epistemology and the metaphysics of the Sankhya with its 25 principles, but admits also the existence of God. The special interest of this system is in the practice of yoga as the means to the attainment of discriminative knowledge, which is held in the Sankhya to be the essential condition of liberation. Nyaya philosophy states that nothing is acceptable unless it is in accordance with reason and experience. The founder of this philosophy is Maharshi Gautama, and the principles are mentioned in Nyaya Sutras. Nyaya says that the world is real. The existence of God is proved by the Nayayikas by several arguments. God is the ultimate cause of the creation, maintenance and destruction of the world. Nyaya philosophy relies on several pramanas. That is, means of obtaining true knowledge as its epistemology. It is a realistic philosophy based mainly on logical grounds. It admits 4 separate sources of true knowledge. These sources are perception, inference, comparison and testimony. The Vaisheshika system was founded by the sage Maharshi Kanada, also named Uluka. It is allied to the Nyaya system and has the same end in view, namely, the liberation of the individual self. It brings all objects of knowledge, i.e. the whole world, under the 7 categories of substance, quality, action, generality, particularity, the relation of inherence and non-existence. A substance is the substratum of qualities and activities, but is different from both. There are 9 kinds of substances: earth, water, fire, air, akasha, time, space, soul and manas. The word Mimamsa means solution of some problem by reflection and critical examination. The Purva Mimamsa school was founded by Jaina Maharshi. Its primary object is to defend and justify Vedic ritualism. In course of this attempt, it had to find a philosophy supporting the worldview on which ritualism depends. The Mimamsa believes in the reality of the physical world on the strength of perception. It is, therefore, realistic. It believes, as we have seen, in the reality of souls as well. But it does not believe that there is a supreme soul, or God who has created the world. It does not hold, like other orthodox systems, that there is a cycle of creation and dissolution. The world has always been as it is. It has neither a beginning nor an end. The world's objects are formed out of matter in accordance with the karmas of the souls. The law of karma is an autonomous natural and moral law that rules the world. Uttara Mimamsa or Vedanta. This system arises out of the Upanishad, which mark the culmination of the Vedic speculation and are fittingly called the Vedanta or the end of the Vedas. It develops through the Upanishads, in which its basic truths are first grasped, the Brahma Sutra of Badrayana, which systematizes the Upanishadic teachings, and the commentaries written on these sutras by many subsequent writers, among whom Shankara and Ramanuj are well known. Of all the systems, the Vedanta, especially as interpreted by Shankara, has exerted the greatest influence on Indian life, and it still persists in some form or other in different parts of India. There are three major branches for Vedanta. First is Advaita of Shankaracharya. Second is Vishisht Advaita of Ramanujacharya. Third is Dvaita of Madhvacharya. Schools that do not accept the authority of Vedas are by definition Nastika system. The following schools belong to heterodox schools of Indian philosophy: Charvaka philosophy, Buddhist philosophy, Jaina philosophy. It is characterized as a materialistic and aesthetic school of thought. Accepted direction perception as the surest method to prove the truth anything. Insists on joyful living. Also known as Lokaitika, Charvaka is a materialistic school of thought. Brihaspati, a philosopher, is traditionally referred to as the founder of Charvaka philosophy, although some scholars dispute this. Buddhist philosophy, it is a system of beliefs based on the teaching of Siddhartha or Gautama Buddha. It is a non-theistic philosophy whose tenets are not especially concerned with the existence or non-existence of God. The teaching of Buddha, the Four Noble Truths. First is, there is suffering. Second is, there is a cause of suffering. Third is, there is a cessation of suffering. Fourth is, there is a way to cessation of suffering. Buddhist philosophy of life to get nirvana from suffering is based on the following 8 principles. First is right view, known as Samyagdrasti. Second is right resolve, known as Samyak Sankalpa. Third is right speech, known as Samyagvak. Fourth is right conduct, known as Samyak Karmanta. Fifth is right livelihood, known as Samyagjiva. Sixth is right effort, known as Samavyama. Seventh is right mindfulness, known as Samaksmriti. Eighth is right concentration, known as Sammasmadhi. The origin of the Jaina faith lies far back in the prehistoric times. The long line of teachers through whom the faith was handed down consists of 24 Tirthankaras or liberated propagators of the faith, the last of whom was Vardhamana, a contemporary of Gautama Buddha. According to Jainism, nirvana or liberation is obtained through 3 gems or Triratna. Triratna. 3 gems are right faith, right knowledge and right conduct. In the very first sutra of Tattvartha Sutra, Umaswami states this cardinal teaching of Jainism: the path to liberation lies through right faith, knowledge and conduct.